Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for passing by once again. For those who are coming to my channel for the first time, I appreciate you all. I thank you. And I would also encourage you to consider subscribing to this channel to encourage and put up also your likes. For those who have been with me from the start of this journey, I thank you for being here once again, and I thank you. I appreciate you. I would also, if you have not yet subscribed, but you have been watching, please subscribe to this channel. Encourage me, encourage the channel. Thanks. Yeah, today we are going to take the second side of the story of my COVID-19 in pregnancy, how I had COVID-19 in my pregnancy last year, and all I went through, to the glory of God, I overcame them all. Yeah, I present myself for those who do not know me. My name is Chibuzo Ogadema. I am a mom of four boys. I live in Italy with my husband and my children. I'm also a health worker and a digital business entrepreneur. Yeah, today I want to continue from where I stopped. Yeah, definitely. Because the last time we stopped at where my doctor was continuing to ask me questions now, keeping me in suspense, and it wasn't easy. But at the long run, she now, threw the bomb, yeah, and told me, yeah, that I was positive. I now started recounting. And I started recounting and I started thinking of how can it be possible? How can it be possible? Because as you people remember, if you went through the first video, the 14 days prior to this second test, I was negative. So how can it be? And my doctor was now telling me, you know, that you might be positive today and tomorrow, and you come in contact with somebody who is, you might can be sorry, you can be negative today, and tomorrow you come in contact with somebody who is positive, and you carry the virus because the virus doesn't give you so much gap. Okay, so it was just like no, she was trying to encourage me and make me strong. I was like, okay, I'm pregnant. What's going to be the effects on my pregnancy? And seeing what was going on, even in the media, we were seeing on tellies, we are hearing on radios, we are reading on newspapers how this COVID-19 was, okay, taking people off the earth, killing people. So I was like, if I should die, who am I going to leave the children with? But I encouraged myself in the Lord. I was telling my doctor it was not possible. I asked her also to request for a second testing because she was the only person that could request. Okay, so I asked her to request for a second testing so that I'll be sure that there was no mix up, there was no mistake in the long run, because I wasn't so feeling symptoms. I was just asymptomatic. But she said there's no problem that she will request, but let me try, and I should try and stay in the isolation, okay, for 14 days. I I was just like, how can I stay indoors for 14 days, no moving out? I live in an apartment, okay? Although I live in a very nice area, but I cannot even go out of my door. It is not something I wish anybody. Though the thing is, okay, continuing to spread, but it's not, being in isolation is not something I would wish anybody. It's just like being in prison. Okay, even prisoners even come out and play and exercise their bodies in the open. But here, if you are isolated for COVID-19, you will not even see your doorstep out. You will not. Okay, so that was it. After she insisted all those things, the surveillance, the public health surveillance, they were continuing to call me. I was like, oh my god, is this how I'm finishing? I was in the frontliner. I was working just to make sure that people are being taken care of in this pandemic period. Is this how I'm going to? Okay, it was just a mixed feeling, a feeling of, oh, it can be possible, and a feeling of, is this how I am going to be paid? Okay, as if it was the fault of, okay, the government. Yeah, but God being so kind with me, I stayed with my family in the isolation because they wanted to isolate me separately. But I told them, no, let me stay in my house, since by the grace of God, I was well, I wasn't having symptoms. My doctor, oh, God bless her, God bless her. My doctor continued calling me. In the morning, she'll call me. In the afternoon, she'll call me. In the evening, she'll call me. She will continue to ask, do you have any symptoms? Do your family members have any symptoms? Your children, how are they? The baby is sick. I said, there is no problem. Just keep calm. I am a Christian. I believe God. The Bible tells I should keep calm and see the salvation of the Lord. I told her that let her keep calm and see the salvation of the Lord. That this situation is not unto death, but is to the glory of the Lord. So that was how I was in isolation with my family. We continued every day. Every morning we will get up after our prayers. We will do some gym. And after the gym, we'll go and eat. After eating, we'll start cleaning everywhere. My even every we were cleaning with bleach. We were cleaning with alcohol. That's the methylated spirit. That's the 90 degrees one that kills every killable. So we're just every day we were sanitizing the house, we were cleaning the door handles everywhere. After that isolation, I had to take down to the garage my wooden table because we just removed the color on it by disinfecting and sanitizing. We removed just with the chemicals. We removed the color. We just destroyed the thing. So I had to take it down to the garage and I brought another one up. So that is it. But then in this process, one day I was now thinking, how can it be? And I now remembered that weeks earlier I was in the stadium, okay, doing my workout because I did a lot of workouts even in my pregnancy because I was accumulating a lot of kilos. Even now, I'm still in the weight loss journey because I'm still breastfeeding my baby. He's 8 months, but now I'm starting the weight loss journey because the winter is returning. We are in August now, 2nd of August. So the winter is returning, and I wouldn't enter the winter with these kilos that I'm having. So I was always doing my workouts in the stadium. And I remember that one of the days when I was doing a workout, I coughed. And when I coughed, I saw some drops of blood. And I coughed again, drops of blood. I said maybe it may be normal because in my first pregnancy in 2007, I was, whenever I coughed, I was spitting blood. They tested me for tuberculosis. They tested me for every possible thing, and I was always negative. I didn't have anything. So they now understood that it was related to the pregnancy. Yeah, because different pregnancies, different symptoms, different signs. So that was my own, the first pregnancy. So when this one, I was pregnant, I was coughing and spitting out blood. I was just like, maybe it's just the first pregnancy, being that I didn't have any other thing, it was just that. So now when they now told me of this diagnosis, I didn't even initially relate to that. Okay, I was like, I didn't link it to that. I was like, no, no. But then it was after a long time, and I started remembering of that. But that be there. Uh, I stayed in the isolation for 14 days with my family. By the grace of God, we were all well. We were not feeling anything. We did not. The only thing was no, the psychological trauma and the depression of staying indoors for 14 days. If you wanted to do shopping for groceries, you will call the local government. They will come to your house. You give them the list. Okay, you throw the list to them from the balcony, and they will take the list. If you don't have enough cash in the house with you, you would give them authorization. You call your bank, you give them authorization. They will go to the bank. The bank will give them money from your account, and then they will go shop for groceries for you, and then they still bring it back. And when they bring it back, they press your bell. They just press the bell. They climb up the stairs, press the bell of your door, and leave the groceries at the door for you. And then you open your door and you take the groceries. This was just there. Okay, so by the grace of God, we went through all that. And personally, I didn't I didn't just want to authorize any person to go to my account because, okay, so now what I was now doing was the little cash we had in the house, we gave. And by the grace of God, everything went. But I have to be honest, the hardest part was, okay, being in the house, isolated with the children, 3 boys in an apartment. Okay, it was not easy. It was not. I just bless the Lord for them because they are boys by the grace of God. Who, when you say stop, they stop. So it wasn't that, but okay, I had to keep them busy. I had to with my sewing machine because I do some sewing as well. Okay, I just learned it for as a hobby. I sew a stuffed ball, made of stuffs, made of materials. Okay, um, I just gathered some textiles, some fabrics I had in the house, and I cut them into pieces. I sew a ball for them, and I stuffed it with fabrics so that even if they're in the house, in the house they want to play it, even if it hits the door, it wouldn't break my glass for me. So I sew that for them. I did so many things just to keep them busy and distracted, okay? Because if they concentrate on the fact that they cannot go outside to play just like every other person, I don't think it's that nice. So I did every possible thing to keep them engaged, to keep them occupied. We played, there is a card that is called Uno, one it's called. So we played it, we read books, we danced, we did so many things. We were just on our, that's choruses, our church hymns and choruses, we'll just be dancing to it. One of the boys that plays musical instruments, will just be playing and we'll be, yeah, and it was during the summer period. And naturally, during the summer period, I suffer a lot. I suffer so much a lot. So because of that, it really disturbed me. But God being glorified, every other thing proceeded perfectly. I was doing everything, virtually everything, okay, that I used to do before getting pregnant. I was able to, let me not go on telling you people what I did. Yeah, because when I'm pregnant, I always become a little bit there. And I do things that maybe not being pregnant I wouldn't have done. So all things proceeded well. And fast forward to giving birth. I was to give birth late November, but because of some reasons, I had to give birth a mid November. And by the grace of God, everything was perfect. And I was also so terrified of giving birth and being in the hospital by November, because we know normally with winter, the COVID infection spreads even faster because the windows remain most of the times closed. The weather is more humid, is more okay. There is more of humidity, and we know that bacteria and viruses they tread more, they survive more in humid environments and environments that are not so aired. So because of that, it was, I would say, I was afraid that being in the hospital after giving birth with my baby, that maybe being in the closed environment, if somebody is having it, I may catch it. And I was so terrified, but God being so kind, everything went well. And there was there one of these days, near some days to delivery, I went for checkup, and one of the gynecologists came in and was telling the other one of this lady that was admitted in the hospital because she was having very high fever. She was pregnant, and the father died of coronavirus, the mother died of coronavirus, and some other of her siblings were infected. And she was testing negative, but she was running very high temperature for the past 2 weeks, and she was being admitted for that. So when I heard this, I was saying, oh my God, can it be that they might test somebody, the person is not negative, but in the real sense the person is positive? The person is, sorry, is not positive by the testing, but in the real sense the person is positive, and they put the same person in the same room with me, and maybe or myself, okay, infecting another person. It was just, or me giving birth, testing negative, and then carrying my baby and infecting my baby without knowing it. It was just, but God being so kind, everything went perfectly. Everything went really perfectly. Yeah, with the room there, you have to hold up, always have your mask on. You will always have your mask on unless there are no people, okay? There are no external people. You are alone with your baby, or you can then remove your mask. But if not, even you that is there admitted in the hospital that gave birth, you have to put on your mask always, except when you are sleeping. It wasn't easy. It wasn't really easy, because think of taking putting on your mask from morning till evening. Okay, only when you are sleeping you can remove it. So I was afraid of even because you don't know who is having it and who is not. I personally, I didn't know whether I had contracted it because you might be negative now and you come in contact with somebody that's positive and automatically you have become positive unless the Lord, okay, takes control. So I really glorify the name of the Lord. And even before, I have to say something that I'm omitting, because before I went back to for the retesting, okay, that now proved I was now negative, there was something that happened. Just I have to say this because it would make you all understand how much God is interested in His children. Okay, I was just as I said earlier, I was still in doubt whether I had it, whether I did not have it. And I had one of the nights, because in my church we were always having prayers, chain prayers, and we were always also having early morning prayers. We still have all the early morning prayers though. And one of the days I was just in the dream. After the prayers, I slept again. One man that was driving a bus, a luxurious bus, came across where I was and called me by my name. I answered, and he said, "Continue with the prayers that you are doing with your church. Continue." I said, "Okay." She said, I don't remember exactly how, but the main thing is that I should continue with the prayers. And I thanked God. I said, "God, I bless your name for this revelation." So now I now went after some days. Now I was now in the dream, and I was in a place. They stood to cut the short. They stood long story short because it's a very long dream. What now happened was that I was now coughing and coughing out a very very thick kata, a very 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 thick kata. And when I was coughing out that kata, I was drawing it. I was drawing it with my hand. You can see, I will tell you that the circumference, I will use the word circumference because it was as big as this. Okay, as big as this. Let me okay, as big as this. The circumference of the kata, it was as big as this. It was coming out of my mouth. I was drawing it, I was drawing it, and as I was drawing it, there is a song that was ringing in my spirit man. It was ringing in my mind, it was ringing in my ears, I will tell you, as if somebody was singing it to me. And the song was saying, "Kelerem Chineke, Onyem Dabere." That's bless the Lord for me, on whom I trust. Bless the Lord, glorify the Lord for me, for on him I trust. So that song was continuing to ring, to sing. I would say the angels of God were singing that song into my ears, to my hearing, to tell me that I should glorify the Lord, that I have been delivered of this virus. So I I continued drawing it and drawing it and drawing it, and at a time it finished, and I woke up. And 2 days after was now the retesting, and I went and everything was gone. So my brethren, my friends, my viewers, my followers, that was how I was delivered, and my journey of COVID-19 stopped. Throughout my pregnancy, I did not contract the infection again because I was constantly being tested. Even before delivery, you will now be tested again. So everything went that way, and by the grace of God, since then, nothing. Even in the classes of my children, I do tell them there is no problem. The Bible says that though 1,000 shall fall by your side and 10,000 by your right hand, they shall never come near you. So even most of the times that my boys, they had a little influenza, because now even if you have influenza, you are going to, that's flu, you are going to be tested. So anytime they had a little influenza, a little flu, I would, when I tell their doctor, because if your child has a flu, you have to take the child home until they do testing and say, certify that it's not COVID-19. So anytime my boys, by the grace of God, they just contracted it once the eldest one, and once. Anytime the time he had flu, they called me from the school. I took him home, and the doctor said he was going to test for COVID. He tested for COVID. He was negative. Even the other boys, their classmates, got infected, and everybody was kept at homes isolated. And after they were now went for testing, they were all negative. So to the glory of God, everything has been proceeding like this, everything has been like this, and my period of isolation went, though it was difficult, but God glorified himself really. God really glorified himself. So that is it. Be encouraged. Be encouraged. Be encouraged. The Lord said that he shall never afflict us with the diseases of the Egyptians. Though it comes to you, as far as you are a believer, as far as you believe Jesus, definitely, as it came, that same way it will live. It's not unto death, but for the glory of the Lord. So be encouraged. Be encouraged. The world is already in chaos. Don't be in chaos. Be in Christ. Don't be in crisis. Be in Christ. Don't be in crisis. Trust Jesus, for he never fails. Remain blessed, brethren. Remain blessed, friends. That is it. You have heard me, and be encouraged. Thanks for watching. Please consider subscribing if you have not done so. Encourage me to continue. Please, I need at least 100 subscribers before this month runs out. Thank you very, very much, and bye for now.